If you've tried Facebook ads in the past, like most of the business owners that I speak with, many of them think Facebook doesn't work. I've tried it, and they throw it out the window. What I can tell you is that it is working for your competitors. It is working for people in your industry. You just haven't cracked the code yet. My name is Josh McKelvey. I manage $6 million in ad spend, generate about 20,000 leads a month. I work with larger sales organizations. On this channel, we talk about marketing, we talk about AI and what's actually working. If you'd like to work with me, click the link below. You can access my free Skool community and you can get in touch with me there. We are of the firm belief that marketing has one primary responsibility, and that's to drive more revenue. I think a lot of things get convoluted in today's world. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Why it's easy to close referral deals. Maybe you have a large referral network that you're working with, and maybe you've tried paid ads or you buy leads from third-party lead vendors. But ultimately, when you try to do your own Facebook ads in-house, they just don't close, they don't convert. So one thing that's important to note is that, primarily depending on your business and industry, you're gonna close more referrals than you are Facebook leads or Google leads or any sort of digital marketing that you're doing. That being said, unless you have, a lot of content out there or a large personal following, it can be much harder to convert cold traffic. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 3 most important things that we do without having a massive personal brand, or company brand or anything like that, to help optimize cold traffic to turn it into more sales. Most of the times what happens when you try to run Facebook ads in-house, maybe it's the business owner, maybe it's a sales director, or somebody similar in upper management trying to run the ads themselves. Sometimes it could be just an entry-level marketing person that you're having try to run the campaigns. But ultimately, no matter what you try, the campaigns always fail. Maybe you spend a couple hundred or a few $1,000s on a campaign, you get excited about it, you throw a couple ads in there and you launch, but either lead costs are way too high. If you do get leads, they don't really convert, or the salespeople complain because the lead quality really isn't there. So the first and most important thing to understand about Facebook advertising is the creative. A lot of even Facebook advertisers or brands that we speak with will upload 1 or maybe 2 creatives, or a small handful, and they'll turn on the campaign, let it fly. A lot of them as well will still put in, manual targeting, which is definitely something you should not be doing in 2026. And they hope for the best and they hope that it works out. But the creatives and the actual ads that you're making, whether they're static image ads or video ads like UGC or user generated content, is the biggest lever that will ultimately determine how well you can convert that cold traffic. So in terms of creative, we kind of think about it in 2 different ways. The first way is you have to have a good concept, a great concept. And the second thing is the vehicle in which how you're delivering that concept to whoever's reading it. So an example of a concept, could just be for business loans. Get a business loan today. We have great rates and terms, right? That's a terrible concept, but it's an idea of a concept. And a lot of advertisers will run something very similar to that and wonder why their lead costs are through the roof. An example of a vehicle is how you're displaying that ad. So maybe it looks like a breaking news article, or maybe it looks like a tweet. That's like the vehicle and how you can communicate the message. The biggest problem that we see when business owners, or large sales organizations try to do this in-house is that the person that's running the creative, first of all, doesn't understand how it works, and second, is not testing nearly enough. This is the most important part of advertising, and why I think it'll still be a long time before AI can ultimately replace good advertisers, is because the creative concept is everything. How smart you are at understanding your target market and messaging that really, really resonates with them depends on how well you know your product, how well you know the end consumer, and what their pain points are, and how you can creatively find a way to resonate with what's going on in their day-to-day life. So when they're scrolling through a million different ads on a daily basis, somehow, for some reason, yours sticks out. That right there is the most important thing, and where you should spend most of your time. Most of my time is spent coming up with new creative concepts, building out those concepts, and testing those against what's currently winning in our campaign. So in order to effectively convert cold traffic, the number one thing to pay attention to most is what creative concepts are you running. Now, let's say you go to launch a campaign and you have some great concepts, you've thought out a lot about it. What's the second step in the funnel? The second step is the form. So a lot of advertisers like to run to landing pages, some to, Facebook instant forms. Both are fine. We've tested both. Generally, landing pages are a little bit more expensive, and instant forms or lead forms, whatever you like to call them, which is Meta's internal form. It's like on platform. So, if you've ever filled out a form on Facebook, it doesn't bring you to a landing page. It's just right there on Facebook. A lot of marketers will say these leads are not good, the quality is not there. I manage hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and I just don't see that to be the case. It all comes down to how well you're qualifying the lead, whether it's on a landing page or on an instant form, that ultimately determines the quality. So the second most important thing in converting your cold traffic is to focus on your form and really dial in your qualifying questions. That's why it's very important to add something called conditional logic, which can filter out the bad leads and make sure that only the good leads are getting passed to your sales team. So let's say you have great creative, you have great winning concepts now. You've added conditional logic in your form to filter out the bad leads. And then you have the last piece, number 3, which is your sales team. And I would also say marketing, automation, and follow-up after somebody enters into your CRM. Speed to lead is absolutely everything. There's been studies done, if a lead isn't called within the first 5 minutes, the odds of converting that lead go down something crazy like 400%. Also, how your sales team is following up with the leads is also very, very important. Even our best clients that are the most profitable on Facebook ads, where they give us $100,000 and we can turn it into $400,000 or $500,000 month over month, only have about a 60 to 70% contact rate with Facebook leads. But that's okay, that's the nature of the beast. It's essential that your sales team is calling the leads twice a day and prospecting those leads in a strategic manner, leaving voicemails, sending text messages, emails. If the sales agent still can't get in touch with the lead, then give it to another sales agent who can follow up accordingly. At the end of the day, referrals are an amazing traffic source you absolutely need for your business. And if you're already established, you probably already have something like that set up in place and working very well. That being said, diversifying your lead sources and where your traffic is coming from is essential to surviving in business. Paid ads are working for your competitors, and there's no reason why you can't figure out how to get them to work for your own business as well. So if you can find winning creatives, you add conditional logic and pay attention to your form and make sure that your sales agents are following up properly, you have a very high likelihood at having a much more successful Facebook campaign this time around. My name is Josh McKelvey. I manage $6 million in ad spend, generate about 20,000 leads a month. If you'd like to work with me, you can click the link below, join my free Skool community, and you can get in touch with me there.